play the intro, and then we'll be good to go.
Cool.
Can you see me right now?
No, not right now. I see the Steelers logo live, Steelers Central. Like, that's what I see. I see myself. No, I can't see you.
Okay. Interesting. All right. They can hear us right now, but I'll talk to you after about what you asked about the other day.
This is Joe Crispin, former Penn State and professional basketball player. You are listening to the Mark Lesko podcast.
I think you said that he could have gotten more separation.
There were some technique fundamentals in receiver that weren't perfect in the 80s. I had to throw a few points at criticism.
You hate to see a game that was where there was that many points scored and was that exciting and that many swings in momentum, etc., effectively get ended by ref.
What was it like playing in March Madness? I mean, we have it going on right now.
But playing there was amazing. I mean, like that's kind of your whole goal is to just be a part of that. It's such a special thing where the whole country is tuning in and anything is really possible, you know.
When you first started playing football, you know, did you always want to play in college?
No, I was growing up. I was a big baseball guy. Loved baseball. And then 8th grade, I remember I got a call from my uncle, Coach Nagel. He's like, hey, I got the job. And I was just like, all right, I'll play football for you.
Like the video if you like the video. Ring the notification bells. Have a phenomenal weekend. As always, we'll catch you in the next one.
You are listening to the Mark Lesko podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. It's as honest and as raw as sports talk can be. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Garrity.
So Anthony Lottie will punt it away from the 41. Greg Garrity is the deep man for Penn State at the 10-yard line.
Former Penn State receiver and 2016 Big Ten champion. You're listening to the best Penn State Nittany Lion podcast, the Mark Lesko podcast.
I gotta change that one intro I have. It's too short. I put the wrong one in. But yeah, joined by Jared Miller once again to talk Steelers. We got some news to talk about, Jared, as you know. So good stuff. I mean, we'll see how it plays out during the season, but yeah, how you doing today, man?
Oh, but I'm just ready for this season to get going. The first official Steelers Central season to get through. I mean, I think that we have a better shot than we did last year for sure. We had a lot of hope that things would be better, but I mean, in the back of your head, you got to think like what with Matt Canada as the coordinator, not getting fired last offseason, it was all just like, how can this still be a thing? And then you watched half the season transpire, and then you watch them fire the dude halfway through. So I feel like we're going into this season with a much better setup. I mean, we don't have a lot of questions answered yet. I mean, we still have to know if Arthur Smith's, schemes and his play calling is going to be better. We don't know yet. If we can't really determine that until we see a game. And guys like Jalen Warren, I mean, he's going to be in the game, but is he going to be 100%? I don't think so. But we have to rely on what this team is going to use that's positive. We're getting new guys. We have Russell Wilson. We have Justin Fields. But we still have Mike Tomlin, and his standard is the standard talk. I mean, I don't know if that is going to be cutting it anymore. I mean, we have a whole season to get through. And, yeah, guys like we just lost him for a month. Isaiah Salamalo, I mean, that right there is kind of tough to swallow because, again, that was a big part of the offensive line. I feel like every year we are going into the season with an injury to a guy. We have to wait till some point in the season. I get it. It's all part of the game. You can't control that stuff. But, of course, the big news is Brandon Ayuk is not a Steeler. and I think we both knew
Mm-hmm.
this. Like, I think we both had that intuitive this that was like they were just being used as a pawn to get Ayuk's deal done from the 49ers. And it worked because he got his money. Now it's a question of can guys like, Jamar Chase, the other guy who's trying to get a good deal, like now everybody's going to be asking for 25, 30 plus, and it's going to be almost impossible for us to search for that next option. Now, if you want to tell me that Calvin Austin, that Van Jefferson, and Roman Wilson, if Roman Wilson can be a number 2, that would be fantastic. But you're asking a rookie to basically evolve 5 years into his process. That's going to be tough. So I know that they have a lot to maybe be positive with because Pat Freiermuth is going to be a huge part of the offense. I cannot wait to see what they do with him. That's going to be huge. For all we know, that's how they're going to use the WR2. They're going to use Pat. I mean, and rightfully so. People really do not give Pat the respect he really should get because we have yet to see the guy in an offense that kind of features tight ends and running backs. Like, that's really what this is all about. So, I mean, I feel like they are gearing towards that kind of game plan. So I feel like, yes, it sucks that Brandon Ayuk is not a Steeler because that would have answered pretty much all of our problems. So in the end, we are going to go into the season without a WR2, but we do have the weapons. And again, it's all going to come down to Arthur Smith's play calling and what it's going to be for their whole season.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got, Brandon Ayuk, he basically used us to get the deal, which you said it sounded like he was going to do, and he did. But basically, 4-year, $120 million. I think CD Lamb got like 4-year, 136 or something like that. And then who else needs a deal now? Jamar Chase, you said, right?
I think I heard someone. I know it's somewhere in that wide receiving core. I know someone is like their contract is up by this year or next year or something, and they're going to be looking for some deal of that nature too. And yeah, this is now the thing. Paying your wide receivers 25, 30 million. I mean,
yeah. So, and I was going to say, it's definitely changed. I mean, I've been watching the NFL my whole life, and you pretty much have been too. And, these deals are pretty insane. This money is insane. You see these 4-year deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars because they know that that's how long they could last before they, the risk, there's less risk because the contract's shorter, but you see them offering more money because if they don't do it, then another team will. So like Big Ben, you got, 10-year, $100 million. Now, if that were a deal today, it would be like 500 million, 700 million. And Big Ben would have gotten that money for sure. But, these receivers now, they know that they can't really last that long. Like running backs, they don't last that long. So they're not going to give these guys like 8-year contracts because by that time they're like probably long tired. But yeah, so, the deal that they had on the table, it was, okay, so Albert Breer said, this scenario, as I understand it, would have had the 49ers landing a second and third round picks from Pittsburgh for Brandon Ayuk, which would have been fine with me. Flipping the 3 to Denver. The Steelers didn't want to part with a player for Ayuk. All's well that ends well. Keeping Ayuk was always San Francisco's presence. So they basically wanted Cortland Sutton in a 3-way deal. The Niners did. The Steelers didn't.
I did know this, yeah.
So who would they said they didn't want to part with a player. Oh, that's why they were involving Denver. So I guess that's why that whole thing was going on like that. But yeah, that makes sense. I guess, yeah, you don't want to get. We definitely don't want to get rid of any players. We can't afford to.
No.
But I think that would have been a good overall deal for everyone. Cortland Sutton, I think, would have been a good fit in San Fran. I mean, they have enough weapons. Now I kind of hope it comes back to bite them now, like they don't make the NFC title game or the Super Bowl, because they probably could have had a fresher body in there than Ayuk, and we really needed, a fresher body. Now during the season, I think we're going to see a receiver come through like DK or Cortland, whoever. They can certainly get a serviceable receiver that doesn't have to be a star, but that'd be cool to get DK. I think he'd be a good fit. He's a huge guy. But yeah, overall, you're seeing this higher money because this is the new NFL. Like Jordan Love, he got what, 400 million for 4 years or something like that, something ridiculous, 200 million, and that's a ton of money for 4 years. But again, like most other players, they're getting this money for in a short amount of time, because that's pretty much what their max value is for the years that they're probably going to be there. So that's why, like with Patrick Mahomes, he's an anomaly. They gave him like 7 years, 500 million or something like that, or maybe it was 10 years, because they knew he was like going to be winning them Super Bowls. He won them 2 more, I think, after that, and I think he lost 1 and won 2 more after that deal. Now, a lot of the times, like Joe Flacco, he got like 120 million back in the day, and he was horrible after that. Big Ben, he was good all the way up until the end. Could have gone to a couple Super Bowls after his contract. They didn't, unfortunately, but that's why you see this. That's why you see this like 100 million a year contract, because realistically in the NFL, it stands for not for long. You're not going to last. No one's going to last. I mean, look at Julio Jones, for example. I was just thinking about him the other day. Like mid 2010s, he was like at the prime of his career, like the best receiver, one of the best ever. And now I don't even know what team he's on. Same with Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, he was always hurt, but he was at the prime of his career when he was a rookie and like a couple years in, and now I think he's on the Panthers now. I mean, these guys just kind of get pushed around. Peterson, our safety from last year, he's a Hall of Famer in my opinion, and he was like a liability on our team last year. It wasn't that good. So you see it a lot with the NFL, particularly a running back. But like what I think is going to happen this year is I think we're going to get another receiver, and I think at some point we're going to trade Najee away. Because he's just, I mean, if we can get some decent value out of him, because he's just, I mean, what in all honesty, what do you think he does for our team? I mean, he provides depth, but
well, it's an interesting situation for sure, because a guy like Najee, who was originally a big back, strong, big, full, like he could just plow through like any line, he could get ripped through any tackle. He definitely has a lot of wear and tear on his thigh, and his legs. Like he's got all of that going for him. But now it's like he's smaller, so it's like you think that he would be a little more agile, he'd be a little quicker. But Jaylen Warren, he's just a little shorter. I think he's like what, 5'9", 5'10", if he's that tall. Like, and he's just flies. He is one of the zippiest little guys. Like, for his size and how big he is, like it's so amazing how he can just go. Like you see where he's at and he's down the field. Like it's hard to really get anything on him. And then of course you got this Cordell Patterson. I mean, that guy is going to be, it's going to be a very big factor. I mean, you have 3 essential great running back options on your team. So your RB3, I mean, he will be used. It's definitely going to be a system that, does it feature Najee or does it feature Jalen? Does it feature Cordell? Because again, he was once a Falcon. I mean, it's not a coincidence that Arthur Smith brought him in. I know that it's like, the guys that can do things. And in the system with these guys, with this whole, like they have the whole plan ready to actually do something. I don't think the Falcons, I mean, they have the players, but it's like, I don't know if they have the division or like the NFC, like how it looks. Like, are they going to get in? I don't know. I mean, they definitely would have to win their division for me to think that they're going to get into any type of playoff situation. But for the Steelers, we could be a wild card team or we could win our division. Now, that's the thing about this too. Like you say, like the Steelers are not ready. I don't know, dude. I look at the AFC North, and yes, it's always going to be a defensive, like driven division. Like that's what we're always famous for. All four teams will always have great defenses. But if you look at like offenses, I mean, yeah, Joe Burrow's back, but is he 100%? I don't think he is. And Lamar Jackson, you know, he has his MVP, he's got his deal. And then it's like you look around and he has 2-3 options between Mark Andrews and I want to say what is their number one wide receiver for the Ravens?
In the Ravens?
Yes.
I don't recall right now.
Yeah.
I know Hollywood Brown's not there anymore. I
was going to say Marquise Brown. It's like, no, I know he's not there. Is Odell Beckham still a Brown, or is he? No, he's a Dolphin. He's a Dolphin now, isn't he?
Oh, is he? Okay.
I think he is. Yeah, I mean, so it's like the Browns don't. I think they have probably the more potent offense.
Pretty much their number one.
Zay Flowers, yeah. So I mean, that's a great option, but I mean, if it's just it between George Pickens and Zay Flowers, who are you picking?
Between who?
George Pickens and Zay Flowers. Who are you picking?
Yeah, I would take George Pickens for sure.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's like that's their only option, but if it's between our best option and their best option, I know which one I'm going with, regardless of what Lamar Jackson is capable of. This division is very good. It's going to be interesting to see them, how they handle themselves offensively this year. I know it's going to be low scoring games, but it's like, how well can they score? And I know that, again, between the tight ends, running backs, and George Pickens, I really feel comfortable with what they have right now to get through the first half of the season. But for the second half, dude, they are going to have to go and get a DK. They're going to have to go and get somebody like Jefferson. Like, who knows what the Vikings are going to look like halfway through the season? Justin Jefferson could all of a sudden be very, very available. And then you watch how Omar Khan will just basically be like, you're not getting extension. You're not getting extension. No one's getting touched because we need this wide receiver to get through the season. You know, that's the thing about this. We are now seeing where the Steelers are without the deal that Ayuk has made. Now it's like everyone's talking about, well, now here comes the extensions. Here comes Pat's extension. Here comes Cameron Hayward's extension. Everyone's going to have to get paid because I know a lot of guys need like their extended deals. Like they're still on the team no matter what, but you think they'd want to get this stuff taken care of by this start of the season. So I would be surprised if we don't hear at least one of those guys getting like a 2, 3, 4-year deal, and the money I would not know. I just know that the Steelers are probably getting ready to make some moves to secure some of these players. But yeah, we're talking at the second half of the season, we should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 5-3, 6-2 at the worst. Like if we're talking like how good we are as a team, that should be where we are halfway through the season. And when trade deadline comes, that seems like that would be right there to acquire someone. And that's when I think they're going to make the big move.
Yeah, this schedule is really exciting. I'm going through the schedule right now, but yeah, you know, just talk about Najee. He's not very quick. They've actually showed highlights of him. He almost looks like he's running in slow motion. And you got Jalen. We got Cordell now too, but I just think that we may be able to trade him at some point, get some value out of him. Maybe trade him for a receiver of some sort. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we traded Najee at some point. But we also
he'd be great in Seattle. He would be wonderful in there.
Yeah, it would just be nice to. We would also need another running back. I think it's sometime soon in the next couple of years. We're probably going to take a running back in the draft. We may even go high with one. We'll see. We do have quite a few coming up. I mean, you know, you got a ton in college right now. Penn State has 2 of them. Penn State can potentially have a couple more after that with Cam Wallace and Quentin Martin, guys like that. But just going through the schedule, it's really exciting. Jared, were you going to say something?
Nope.
Yeah, so we got Atlanta, week 1. I think we can win that game. at Denver. I think we can win that game too. I don't know if there will be any players that we can't play because there's higher elevations. I believe it was Ryan Clark couldn't play in Denver because of the
high sickle cell thing.
Yeah, sickle cell. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, but I don't know if we have any players that will not be able to play. I doubt it. Then we're home against LA, the Chargers at 1, Jim Harbaugh. I think we can win that game too. And then week 4, we're at Indy at 1. I think we can win that game. And then again, it gets exciting. This is where it starts to get exciting. We're Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys at home. And then the next week we're at Las Vegas at 4. And then we got the Jets Sunday night at home, week 7. That's another awesome matchup. I hope Aaron Rodgers is playing. And then Monday night we're against the Giants at home. Week 9 bye. And we got at the Commanders at 1. Ravens home. And this is when Hard Knocks starts. That's another thing about this season is we're going to be on Hard Knocks, which is absolutely
the
insane.
NFC North,
yeah, it's going to be fantastic to watch that. But and then you got at Cleveland Thursday night. I hate Thursday nights. And then at Cincinnati at 1, and then Cleveland at home at 1, at Philly at 4, at Baltimore at 4:30, and then Kansas City at home at 1, and then we've got Week 18 Bengals at home. So we have a tough schedule. I don't know if it's the hardest in the league, but like I predicted us going 12-5, and that's all is predicated upon Russell Wilson's performance and the fact that I hope he can play long enough to give Justin Fields some sitting time and give him confidence, because I think Justin Fields could be a good quarterback. Now, will he ever be accurate? I don't know. We'll see. I think it'd be kind of a miracle to ever see him be an accurate quarterback, but because his accuracy is pretty bad. And I say that as someone who I did play quarterback when I was younger, and my issue was accuracy. I could throw it hard. I threw javelin and stuff, and I pitched, but yeah, accuracy it's tough. If you're not accurate, it's really hard to work on, especially in the NFL when you're moving around. Like that one pass he threw against the Bills, like open touchdown, he missed them. I mean, those are harder than they look. But yeah, I think we got 1, 2. I think we beat Denver, maybe a loss at LA, win against Indy, Cowboys. I think that's a win. LA's a win. Jets maybe a loss. Giants win. Commanders win. Ravens loss. I mean, we could even lose at Cleveland, but I think we win. And then at Cincinnati, say that'd be like our 4th loss. And then maybe like Philly is our 5th. But I think we beat the Chiefs at home. Maybe by then, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be good enough to sit, but it could be possible. I mean, I don't know. Week 17, would they sit their starters? I don't know. I don't think so, but I do think we beat Kansas City. I think that's one of the teams we beat. But at the end of the day, 12-5, I think is pretty much where we're at. 11-6. I just don't want to get the last seed in the playoffs and then lose again. Because at that point, after all this talent we acquired, you maybe get one more year after this. And if Mike Tomlin still again makes the playoffs, loses, or doesn't make it, I don't know how he can stay as the coach. This is Pittsburgh. It's not Cincinnati. You can't miss the playoffs for 20 years like Marvin Lewis and keep your job. So that's not the Steelers. So we would literally boycott the team or whoever is making these decisions. So because I'm so tired of having a bad draft pick after barely making the playoffs. That's why I'm so I'm just I'm done. Like this is such a dumb cycle. It's such a stupid cycle. I mean, either be really bad and get a good draft pick, make a playoff run, and nothing else. That's it. Like one or the other. Don't be in the middle. The middle is a horrible place to be. It's mediocrity. It's total BS. It's unacceptable. So What do you think? What do you think about, like, with Russ being our starter? How do you think we're looking? Can you see my web browser?
I can see
Okay.
I can see the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm using StreamYard now for everybody that doesn't know, and it's way better. So
it's way better. I like this a lot, dude. This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you can see it.
So go down for me. Go down for me. So at Atlanta, that is a win. At Denver, that is a win. It's going to be closer than we think, but I think we're going to have struggles in Denver. Some teams do in that field. I think we're still going to win at home against Los Angeles. I know Justin Herbert might be healthy by that game. I don't think that's it. They said he's going to be on the IL start of the season. I don't know if they said he's 100%, but yeah, I still think we're going to be 3-0. We may lose at Indianapolis. Did you see that last year? Like, that game was tough to watch. We were up 14-0 on that team, and we just let them steamroll and just completely destroy us and humiliate us at Indianapolis. So I'm thinking that might be another loss. So that's 3-1. And then next week, what is that?
Dallas
for Cowboys. Yeah, that's going to be a fun game. If it's going to win, I'll say it's a win. It's going to be close. So that's 4-1 at Las Vegas Raiders. I know our horrors with Raiders, but I'll still say that's a win. That's 5-1. The Jets, gosh, I don't want to give Aaron Rodgers love, but I think in the end, what's that?
They are in a bit of turmoil right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that again, it's
not doing good. So
I think Sunday night games. I mean, yeah, that's tough for us, but yeah, it's home. I'll say we win. I'm going to be optimistic. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think we're still going to win that. So what is that now? 5-1, 6-1, and then we beat the Giants. I think that's what we start at, 7-1 to start the season. At Commanders is kind of the new Raiders. Like, we have been having our issues with the Commanders for some reason, and I think that might be where we stop that. I think we win this one. Yeah, after our bye, and then we play. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but Tomlin's always good after a bye. So there's 8-1. The Ravens at home. We have had our great success against Lamar Jackson, dude. I don't see it stopping either. So I'm still going to go 9-1. And then we're going to be at Cleveland. That's going to be our first big loss after like how many months? Yeah. So yeah, that's 9-2. And then we have Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to say that's a win. I'm going to actually give it to us. I'm going to say we're going to go 10-2 there. And then the Cleveland Browns, we're going to win at home. We're going to be 11-2. And then the Eagles, nothing will give my cousins more pleasure to hear this. I think we're going to lose to the Eagles at Philadelphia. And as much as I would love nothing more than to claim victory, I think we're going to lose there. And then we are going to lose I think we are going to lose at Baltimore. So that'll be 11-4. And then I think you're right. I think we are going to beat Kansas City at home. I think that's going to be a great game. And I think it's going to be 12-4. And then we go. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Louise.
See that little Netflix thing right there?
Oh, yeah. Jeez, Louise. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's the world we live in. But yeah, I think we win that game. We're going to be 12-4, and then home against the Bengals. I don't know where the Bengals will be at this season, but if we're leading the division right at that point with 12-4, I'd like to think we're going to try and go for it. And if we do, I think we're going to win that game at home. So there you have it. I think we're going to be 13-4. I'm very optimistic right now with Russell Wilson and company, but that's how it looks like it's going to play out. I'm going to go 13-4, and we win that division. I'm not trying to be like some prideful. We have waited so long for Pittsburgh to do something. I'm just finally feeling like this is the year we take control of this division, because again, it is not the strongest it's been offensively. So I feel like and again, we don't face the AFC North until like week 10. Like, it's insane how long we go into the season before we face a single divisional rival. It's crazy. So I think we're going to have a great season, and then we just kind of go 500 against them, and then we're just going to take care of business, be 13-4.
Yeah. So, who's your Super Bowl pick? Do you have one?
Yes. I think this is going to be such a hot take, but not for the NFC. I think NFC that this will be obvious, but AFC will be interesting. You're going to be a little surprised, I think. For my AFC choice, I'm going to go with the Texans.
Okay.
I think CJ Stroud and them are already ready to get to the playoffs and make some noise. That offense now with Stephon Diggs, dude, that team is going to be very interesting offensively. We don't play them. I mean, I think would be the coolest scenario is for us to get all the way to the AFC Championship against Houston. But that would then mean I think that we're going to lose in the AFC Championship. I don't want it, but I think that'd be a pretty cool championship. And I think that the Texans would win. Their offense is just right now ready to do a lot of damage. And I think their defense is good. It's not elite, but I think they're going to be good enough to keep themselves in games and get all the way. And then, of course, for the NFC Championship, I'm going to choose the Lions. So I have the Texans versus the Lions in the Super Bowl this year. Did I lose you, bud? I think you froze up, bud. Well, I mean, if that's the case, yep, I lost him. So I don't know if that means I'm still good to go, folks, but I really hope that you guys have enjoyed our preseason predictions and talk of the Steelers. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you for the next show. Thank you for watching.
Can you hear me, Jared? Can you hear me? My computer literally just reset. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what happened. My computer just reset, but it's nice to know that the link doesn't drop. That's pretty cool. So I'm trying to get Jared to hop back on. I don't know what happened. That was weird. But my computer just reset. I mean, it seems like everything's good. Man, that's crazy. Crazy. At Baltimore at 4:30. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Okay. But I think they're going to be good enough to keep themselves in games. Just give me a second, everyone. You back in?
Yes, I am, bud.
I have no idea what that was. It literally just reset.
Neither did I.
At least it
You
doesn't.
just
At
froze
least it
up.
doesn't drop the broadcast. So,
Right.
yeah. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was just simply saying like I think that the better team for the NFC is the Lions, obviously. I know that's going to be between them and the 49ers and the Eagles, but I like what the Lions have. I think that would be a really, really fun Super Bowl to see Dan Campbell versus insert his name, the Houston Texans coach.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I like the guy. Yeah, I know. I'm saying I know the coach is a really good dude. I mean, he's making a lot of headway. So I think that this is right now the best for the Super Bowl. I think the prediction would be that it's going to be the Lions versus the Texans.
Okay.
Yep, that'd be my pick. What's yours?
So it's definitely the Lions and it's either the Lions and the Bengals or the Lions and the Bills. That's my prediction. So
Explain the Bills one.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that the Lions don't make it, and same with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are easily, if they stay healthy, they're making the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to play the Lions. But I think the Lions ultimately are going to end up being the Super Bowl champs this year. I think they're from what they're coming off of. I think they're going to end up being Super Bowl champs. I mean, I just don't think there's any way that they can't.
Right.
I mean, they're so stacked. They blew it last year completely. They handed San Fran that game, and San Fran's a really good team. So, yeah, I think
everybody
it's
knew
be
that.
Bengals, Lions, yeah.
Wow.
Or Bills. I'd like to see the Bills make it too.
What's the fascination with the Bills? I mean, they have no Stephon Diggs, so you think all the drama will make them play better?
Oh, dude, they 100% added by subtracting. He was a horrible. I would never want him on my team. He was a horrible addition for the Texans. I mean, he's a good player, but there's no way with a young quarterback that's a good fit, in my opinion. So, yeah, they got Keon Coleman. There's no Stephon Diggs 100%. By him not being on that team, it made them better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. But yeah, that's my Super Bowl prediction, man. So,
I think we're all agreed with the Lions, though. I mean, it seems like it's their time finally. It's got to end the cycle. Like it's like the Chicago Cubs or something like that. I mean, after 100 and some years, like they finally got to win a Super Bowl. They got to win one. They just look like the best. I mean, I think every name that they have between wide receiver, running back, obviously Jared Goff. I mean, people write him off all the time just because he wasn't the greatest against the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady driven Patriots. Like that, what were you going to do? I mean, that right there was not going to happen. I mean, you weren't going to outsmart a dude who's been in the league for over a dozen years and Bill Belichick having the record he had. There was no way that was not going to happen. So I know that they have figured things out, like between like Goff going to the Lions, Dan Campbell's just a better fit for him. Not Sean McVay wasn't a bad coach for him. He just has better options. So I like what he has in Detroit. I mean, they just look like they're prime to start getting somewhere, getting all the way. I very much think that it is going to be the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl over the Houston Texans, though.
Okay. Do you think what do you think about Russell Wilson being named the starter?
Oh, dude, I mean, it was inevitable. Like, you're always going to go with experience over rookie or younger guy. Not that he's a rookie. Justin Fields has been in the league for 2 years now. So, I mean, he definitely has a lot of potential to replace, but I feel like this is definitely going to be the perfect fit right now for him. And I mean, would it be nice to see him go all the way? Of course, but I just want them to get to a playoff game and win. Just please give us something that we haven't seen for a while, which is a winning season and a winning record in the postseason, or at least 500. I don't know. I'm hoping for all AFC championship at least. That would be my goals for them, but just win a playoff game.
Yeah, so one thing Bill Cowher said on Pat McAfee was you don't want to start Justin Fields now because say you put him in and then he struggles, you're going to kill his confidence. So put Russ in there. Russell's been benched before. If it doesn't work out with Russ, we got Justin Fields in the back. So that works out really well. Russell Wilson being the starter. Now, ultimately, does it mean that, he's the better quarterback? I think right now he is, but in the future, we definitely have options. So it's definitely good to see that continue. With a good veteran quarterback, a very good proven quarterback, I think he's a good leader in terms of how he carries himself. So I think that's what I expected to happen. I'm not surprised at all. So, but Jared, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good to go, but I'm just ready for this season to get it going.
Yeah, me too. Well, we're pretty much officially in week 1 tomorrow. So Jared, you send me times that you'll be available.
Yes.
And then we'll coordinate something. But yeah, I don't see why, like on a Saturday or something, we couldn't do a pregame show. I'll be doing postgame Penn State, but I don't see why we couldn't do a pregame show on Saturday, and then we could just do pre and postgame in one episode, So
yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for coming on. If you guys put your comments below, give your thoughts on the season going forward, and we will see you this week. See you, Jared.
Enjoy the season. See you guys.